Hey folks, in this video I'm finally unboxing the brand new Nikon D850 and I'm going to do an initial test shoot with model Alexis. We're going through 3 different fashion looks in studio with a range of different lenses and heading out to the park to put this camera through its paces. Stick around. Hey folks, today after a long wait, I'm finally able to unbox and introduce the Nikon D850. Now, before I get into it, I have to say a huge thanks to Camera Bar in 75 Asylum Street, that's fitting for me, in Hartford, Connecticut. They helped me out. My pre-order in New York City fell through. A viewer put me in touch with them. They had one that someone had canceled their order on. I was able to pick it up. They sent it to me overnight to be here, so huge thanks to them. I had a bunch of filming planned with this, and when my pre-order wasn't fulfilled on, I was left hanging. So big thanks to those guys. Do check them out, link in the caption below. So, I have to say, I am excited about this camera. Cameras are just tools, blah, blah, blah. That's not the camera, it's the photographer. It's, you know, all of that is all true. But I shoot a lot of portrait and travel and yada, yada. The D810 for a long time was my go-to camera, but it had some things that I really thought could be improved, especially compared to my Nikon D5, which is another absolute beast of a camera. But the focus in that is just so far ahead. Essentially, all I said I wanted from a D810 replacement was the focus module from this. There was a couple of other bits and pieces. Most of them are in this, along with an amazing new, an amazingly high-res new sensor. That's it. 45.7 megapixel, and it's a lot faster, and it does have the focus module, so I'm pretty stoked, and it's got the XQD and SD, which is again what I was hoping for. So I'm really stoked, and it takes the same batteries as the D810, which I still have a bunch of. So one downside about it, you don't need to see my credit card details or any of that stuff, is if you want the maximum frames per second, you need to buy the grip and the battery that goes in this guy. And if you don't own a D5, that's a huge investment, because even the battery charger is a couple of $100. If you already have the D5 though, it becomes a viable option. Not sure that I will actually go for that though. I like that it's a smaller camera. Let's move these out of the way so no one gets confused what is involved with the D850 and what isn't. So you've probably seen unboxings online already. This one is going to be different in 2 ways. One, I'm actually going to unbox it and then test it out. I've got a model coming in. We'll do a quick shoot and show you, some files that you can actually check out. I'll tell you how I found it handling in that first couple of hours of shooting with it. And this is an actual retail box rather than one that's been sent out by Nikon marketing. So a lot that I've seen that people have put out already had, straps and everything on them because they were sent by marketing. So this is the retail packaging. So 2 gigantic manuals. I guess it's 2 different languages. I'll never know because that package won't get opened. Come on, who reads a manual? Plug adapter will be handy with the amount of travel I do. Cable adapter so that you can plug in different, it'll be USB and probably HDMI to the side, screw it down so they don't get yanked out. Very helpful. The battery charger itself, I don't know if this is slightly different to the previous one. I think the battery is ever so slightly different to the D810, but they are backwards compatible. D850 strap, that will also most likely never get unpacked. A USB 3 cable, and the battery. So the battery on this guy looks the same, different color than the previous one. Now, this is actually, I think, going back to the coloring that like the D300 had. This is the NEL15A battery, 7 volt, 1900 milliamp hour, 14 watt hour. And this is what everyone is waiting for. Here is my friendly consultant, Aaron. Thank you for your help, Aaron, from Camera Bar. I'm going to run through this because I think most of you know it. SnapBridge, a little ad for SnapBridge. I hope it works. Every time I've used it, I've found it buggy and completely pointless. On a camera like this that's 46 megapixels, being able to transfer tiny little JPEGs slowly may have some application, I'm not sure. Looking around the body, it feels very similar to the D810, to be honest. The grip is maybe a little bit slimmer, more like the D500 shape, a sharper cut in. About the same hand feel though as, well, it's like a D810 with a D500 kind of grip shape if you're having a look at it there. Battery in. Oop, let's put it in the right way. Little protective screen off. And this does have the tilty screen. It doesn't flip around, but for framing up a landscape on the ground or being up in the sky and wanting to take a picture, to be able to see that is going to be really handy. Let's actually mount a lens on it. This is the 105, a lens that a lot of people who seem to not actually shoot don't like, and those who do shoot love. And there you go, comparing it to the D5, you can see the body size difference. Now, when you add the grip, you're probably going to find that the D850 actually ends up being bigger than the D5. That's often the case because you've got, you know, the bottom piece of metal on this one and the bottom piece on the grip and then the battery, whereas this doesn't have all of those different sectioned out parts. In the hand, I mean, it's really too early to say. It feels just fine though. Let's take a look. I still really wish that they would match up the buttons on these cameras. I find it absolutely ridiculous that two flagship cameras, they move them around. So this one has the mode at the bottom, this one has it at the top. This one has quality here, this one has it on the back. ISO on this one, well, that's equalized up. So I think they're a little bit closer than the D810 was, but still it would be really nice to be able to go from one camera to the other camera and have the buttons in the same place. Now, just for a little bit more size perspective, here is the only other Nikon I have in the house at the moment, and that is the Nikon D3000 with the 50mm lens. So that's kind of your smallest, your biggest of the, you know, this normal size shape body, and then the biggest of their with grip bodies. Having said all of that, it's a nice camera, the specs are crazy. Let's see how the files actually look and how it is in the hand. Let's get a model in, transform the office back into the studio and try it out. Battery charged, card in and formatted, time set up. Make sure I've got my card set up right and the compression all right. Get it set up for off-camera flash. Bring in the pocket wizards and the flash point, and we're good to go. I just had a delivery from Lens Pro to go today, so as well as the 105, I am going to test this out with the latest generation 70-200. We'll also use the 200 f2 out in the park, and I'll grab my beast, the Otis 85mm Zeiss lens, to shoot some studio portraits. Beautiful. So the handling is just great. If you're coming from the D810, there's really nothing to get used to other than the slightly different grip shape, few different buttons, but nothing really. I didn't put the tilty screen to use yet because this has all been studio, but we've used the 105, the 70-200 and the 85 Otis, all working great. On the back of the camera, the images are looking great. I've done some in small, medium and large RAW as well. I'll make those available. Now let's head out to the park with the 200mm and try it out. Okay folks, so we got a range of different stuff there from ISO 32 right up to over 10,000. Go over to the page mattgranger.com/D850 and I will put this video will be there, my earlier video, and raw files from this in the different sizes and some JPEGs so you can check them all out. Now note, this is not any kind of a thorough review. This was an unboxing and an initial test shoot. So I have one video that I'm planning for next week and I'm going to take this and do a full field tested in-depth 3-week review whilst I travel through Iceland at the end of the month and into October. So stay tuned for the full one, but I'll have another video on this guy coming middle of next week. Let me know what you'd like to see tested out, and I'll see you soon.